Hey, what's up, cats and kittens, and shout out to all my Cerebralites. It is me, the Cerebral Diva, and I'm back with another episode of RealiTEA, and that's TEA because I give it to you scalding hot. So grab your cups, grab your saucers, gather around, and let's all partake in this libation of Real Housewives of Atlanta tea. But before you go another further, do yourself a favor, and while you're at it, do me a solid. Take a second to hit that subscribe button, and once you've done that, take another second to hit that tiny little bell so you can turn on your alerts, and that way you'll be kept in the loop. Having said all of that, let's talk about what we're here to talk about, and that is the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So already before season 10 shooting has even commenced, drama is already unfolding, and it looks like there's a storm brewing between NeNe and Porsha. So as most of you should know by now, unless you've been under a rock, NeNe is returning for season 10. And she did a photo shoot recently in celebration of that, a celebratory photo shoot that listen, okay, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. I haven't really been a NeNe fan since maybe season 3, season 4, somewhere around there. It was the season where her and Sheree, were arguing in the restaurant, and NeNe was talking about, I got Trump money and I'm rich, very rich, and also the scene on the bus where they were like taking a trip to Miami and she was trying to bully Kim. It was just, that was the moment in time where I was just like, I'm not quite sure if I'm vibing with the energy that she's putting out there. I felt like she began to shift. One of the things that I loved about her very early on is that she seemed very real, very humble, and in those instances I began to see a different part of her that I could not necessarily relate to. So I just didn't like her as much, and at that point I think Cynthia and Candy sort of became my favorites. So moving on from that, so she did this photo shoot, and when I saw the photo shoot, from the neck up I thought she looked beautiful. It was that torso, that midsection, I was just like, it looked really masculine to me. I'm just going to be honest and call it like I see it. You can judge me if you want to. You can comment, you can hate, do whatever you feel like doing. But there was just no feminine curve there. I don't know if it was the boxiness of the vest or whatever. It didn't really add to her silhouette, if I'm being completely honest. So I didn't like it. I just thought it made her look really wide and boxy, and I don't know who thought that was a good picture to put out as a promotional picture. They should have asked whoever photoshopped Amber Rose's pictures for the slut walk. They should have sent NeNe's pictures over to them so they could have zhuzhed them up a little bit. So didn't really care for the photo shoot overall. I did think that her face looked really pretty, but that's neither here nor there. So anyhow, Porsha, who is a journalist on Dish Network, journalist in quotation marks, air quotes over here, she took to Dish Nation and she had some pretty interesting things to say about NeNe's return. So let's listen to what Porsha had to say, and I'll be right back with my commentary.
Well, it's official. It's official, Porsha. NeNe Leakes is back, baby, for the next season of Real Housewives in Atlanta. NeNe made the announcement by posting this photo on Instagram with the caption, "It's been a long process, but we've finally reached an agreement. All hail to the queen, honey, for season 10 of Real Housewives of Atlanta. Hashtag the threat is back." Ooh. All right, bitch.
A season or a villain?
I don't know.
Ooh, she gonna get y'all, Porsha, sound like.
She been waiting. I'm glad she got a job back.
Nah, that's what I said too, child. Porsha.
Yeah, you gotta be pretty excited to go do a full photo shoot, all this, that. I'm glad. I'm happy for you. I'm glad you're happy.
So if you're like me, all you heard was shade, and more shade. Porsha's not excited about seeing NeNe come back. It's going to be really interesting to see exactly how that dynamic plays out, because probably the 3 central characters on the show would be Candy, NeNe, and Kenya right now. Those are the 3 people that are really keeping the show afloat. They're really carrying the show on their back. Their storylines are the ones that most people have a vested interest in. Chateau Sheree, that has pretty much played out. Kim and the kids, it's cute, but they have a show of their own where we all get to see that, so that's not going to be very interesting. I don't know exactly how they bring Porsha back into the fold, because seeing her have exchanges with Sheree and Kim isn't going to be enough to sustain her on the show, in my opinion. So it'll be really interesting to see exactly what they do with her, whether she's going to go on an apology tour, atoning, and apologizing and kissing ass for the next couple of months. It'll be I don't know, it's going to be really intriguing to see exactly how they make this cast gel in a way that's going to make for good television. But having said that, I want to talk about just NeNe in general. One of the things that I think people seem to forget, whether you love NeNe or hate NeNe, it cannot be denied that without her presence on the show would not be what it was or what it is. I remember, like, it was like season 3, maybe 4, somewhere around there. That's when, you know, I began to not like NeNe so much. It was the scene with Kim, where it was a scene with Candy, where, you know, she just gave Candy way too much when she first met her. It was the scene where she was threatening Kim on the bus when they were taking a trip to Miami. And it was also the scene with Sheree when she was talking about, you know, I got Donald Trump money, I'm rich, very rich, all that stuff. Like, that she just turned into a different NeNe for me personally, that one that I couldn't relate to. One of the things that I loved about her was that she seemed so humble and so grounded and so down to earth. And at that point, she sort of jumped the shark for me personally. So I just couldn't relate to her very much after those particular scenes or instances. And granted, you know, those are really just, you know, moments in time. That's probably not indicative of her character as a whole. But in terms of watching the TV show, and please, people who comment on my videos, I'm talking about the TV show. I don't know NeNe Leakes personally. She's probably a great person. I don't know. But when I'm watching the TV show and I'm judging the characters that are being edited and portrayed for us on television, that's the feeling I have for that character, okay? So please don't comment below if you're a NeNe Leakes fan and say all this stuff. I'm talking about what's portrayed on television, okay? Are we clear? So I sort of, you know, moved away from NeNe at that point. But even though I moved away from her, you know, I love the fact that when this show began, it was the first Black-led cast in the Bravo Real Housewives franchise. And it could have gone left very easily. And it didn't. You know, kind of, it could have gone the way that the Real Housewives of DC went. Do you guys remember that? I think it was like 1 season. But it didn't. You know, NeNe, and, you know, it wasn't solely NeNe because it's an ensemble cast, but a lot of why people tuned in was because of NeNe. People just related to her and wanted to watch her on TV. And because of her, not only did the show not fail, it became the #1 show, and to this day it's still the #1 show in the entire Real Housewives franchise. And I think that speaks to what she brings to TV. So I think because of that, you know, when Porsha says, what did she say? You know, I'm glad she got her job back. Hold for just 1 second, you guys. I think it's important for Porsha to remember that without NeNe, you wouldn't have a job, you wouldn't be on Dish Network, and so many of the great things that happened in your life have actually happened because of NeNe, indirectly. So yeah, I mean, I do think that because of that, NeNe definitely deserves some level of reverence from the castmates. Now, reverence and ass kissing are 2 completely different things. I don't think that Porsha has to kiss anyone's ass, you know, just because of what they did and what they've contributed, because I'm a firm believer also that respect is earned, not owed. If you don't do something that warrants my respect, then I'm not obligated to give it to you. Having said that, you guys, and that concludes this episode. So remember to like, comment, subscribe, and please share if you feel so inclined. Remember to follow me across all social media platforms: Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and Twitter. Also remember, it is better to be pissed off than it is to be pissed on. And as always, in closing, people, remember to live better, love harder, and think smarter. It is me, the Cerebral Diva. I will talk to you guys again soon. Have a great day, and as always, thank you for listening.